Hey guys, Thrasher here, and today I want to talk about team building and the number of combat units you should have on each team. Let's talk about it right now. Okay, let's click on menu, and then we're going to go to characters, and here's a team that I've set up. I've used it a little bit in PvP. I've done a few matches with it. I want to talk about a few different things here. One of the most common questions I get is whether you should bring 3 combat characters and 3 hard bench units, and I'll talk about what a hard bench unit is in a minute, or 3 combat units that you generally bring, and then you have a few other units, possibly 3 more, that are of different color types, so you can bring them in to counter specific characters or specific colors. And the answer to that is, it depends. But let me see if I can break it down a little bit more and make it a little bit simpler. The first thing we should talk about are hard bench units versus alternate units versus combat units. So combat units are your 3 primary units that you plan on bringing. If you don't know what the opponent has, these are the 3 units that you think you're going to bring. So if you look at this team, generally what I would bring is the Super Saiyan Broly in the top left, the Super Saiyan God Goku in the bottom left, and then the Green Vegeta in the top right. That is my general combat team. Now, there are a few cases, very, very rare, but someone may bring 2 yellow units on their team. If they do that, they're doing it obviously to try and counter my Broly. What I would do is bring the alternate unit. So the alternate unit I have is that Majin Vegeta. I would probably go the Broly, the Super Saiyan God Goku, and then the Majin Vegeta. And that allows me to very easily counter those 2 yellow units. And Broly can pick up the last one without an issue, no matter who it is. Now, here's the thing. I have 2 hard bench units. So in the bottom right here, you see that I have Shallot. He gives a huge HP boost to everyone else on the team. I have Raditz, who gives a huge HP boost to everyone else on the team. But they will never, ever see combat. They are only there for bench purposes. The reason that Majin Vegeta is called an alternate unit is because even though I can switch him in if I want to, he also has a quality Z ability that does help my team. So if we open this up, and then we go to show details, ability, Z ability, he gives a 20% base blast attack bonus to Saiyans. Well, my biggest damage dealer is by far my Broly. So he is giving a very quality Z ability boost to the whole team, so he's a good bench unit, but if I need to, I can bring him in. So he's not just there as a unit that I can switch to if I need to as far as my team composition. He's also there for Z ability. There are teams where you may want to have 6 characters that can all see combat. Generally, that's because you don't have any 1 or 2 units that are extremely overpowered, so you don't have a Broly on your team. This team is pretty much built around Broly. That's the idea. And then I use a few other characters to deal with any issues that Broly might run into. So let's talk about that idea and the idea of the Holy Trinity, which is Broly, Super Saiyan Bardock, and Super Gogeta. That team is very powerful because they have 3 high damage dealing units and they pretty much don't have any counters at the moment. The problem is they're very rigid. So if at any point a unit comes out who truly counters Broly, the team pretty much falls apart because there's no way for that specific team to easily switch out units to counter whatever unit is countering their main damage dealer, which is Broly. So you pretty much have 2 options. You have a team that's running at pretty much 100% full efficiency, which is 3 combat units and then 3 hard bench units that are buffing them as much as humanly possible. Or you have a high flexibility team, which is your 3 combat units, and then you have 2 to 3 alternates down below that also have reasonable Z abilities. That way you can switch out based on any counters that happen to show up. If your team is so overpowered that there are no quality one-on-one counters to any of your main 3 units, or whoever your very main unit is, then you can probably run 3 main characters and then just 3 bench units. But if your team is not so overpowered that you have 3 characters that have no equals whatsoever, you probably want to run a team that has 1 to 2 possible counter units in the bench setup. So good examples of that are Hybrid Saiyans. Hybrid Saiyans have gotten a little bit better with the newest banner. We have the Future Gohan and the Future Teen Trunks, who's not a teen, whatever. But that team now has some actual flexibility. You can put multiple characters on that team that can go in different combat configurations. So it's not just 3 combat units like it used to be, which was Goten, Trunks, and Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Now you have a lot of flexibility there. The team can actually work depending on who you see your opponent is about to bring. You can actually switch those units out. And that is the exact opposite of the Holy Trinity team, where you have to run those specific 3 units. So that's really the question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to have one very specific team that you get used to and you just play in your own style and you just deal with whatever someone throws at you once you're already in combat? Or do you want a team where you can be a little more methodical before the actual match starts and try to pick characters that you think are going to counter the characters they're going to bring? Either way, they'll both work. You just have to factor in that if you have 3 hard bench units, your 3 main units are going to be hitting a little bit harder than they normally would be if you've got alternates, because most of the time those hard bench units have better Z abilities than alternate units. And that's all there is to it. 3 units running at 100% or 6 units all running at 85 to 90%. And with that being said, I know that the Holy Trinity is still out there as the mainstream team, but if you're running any other type of team, throw it down below so we can all talk about it, and those that are still working on their team building can see what kind of teams are working for other people. And if you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.